Have you ever felt like you're carrying a weight you can't quite see? Like a constant hum of dissatisfaction or unease that just seems to follow you everywhere?
Hmm.
It's almost as if you're moving through life with this backpack full of invisible burdens, maybe regrets, anxieties about tomorrow, that nagging inner critic whispering doubts.
Or even expectations from other people that you've sort of unconsciously picked up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if I told you that letting go of those unseen burdens isn't just, like, possible, but it's often the most direct shortcut to a really profound sense of joy and freedom?
It's so true. And it's far from just being abstract. These aren't just poetic metaphors. Those unseen burdens, they manifest in really tangible ways, impacting our physical health, our mental well-being.
Right.
That constant feeling of being weighed down, whether it's anxiety about things you haven't finished or just the stress of daily life, feeling overwhelmed, it can actually translate into real physical tension.
Yeah, I feel that.
Chronic fatigue, maybe your sleep gets all disrupted. It can even put a strain on your most important relationships. So in this deep dive, we're going to pull back the curtain a bit.
Okay.
Look at the psychological, the spiritual, and really importantly, the intensely practical pathways to releasing what no longer serves you. We'll explore what keeps us stuck and, crucially, give you some intentional, compassionate ways to unbind yourself.
So today we're really unpacking the art and science of letting go. And it's not about loss, right? Not creating a void.
Not at all. Quite the opposite.
Think of it more like a radical act of self-creation. Making space, huge space actually, for more of what really aligns with your well-being, your purpose, your genuine happiness. We've pulled together insights from, all sorts of places, looking at the psychology of self-compassion, the power of mindfulness, practical strategies for emotional detachment, and tackling those sneaky, self-sabotaging, limiting beliefs.
And that really is our core mission for this deep dive. The happiness of letting go, releasing what doesn't serve you for more joy. We'll explore how understanding our inner world and cultivating some very specific, actionable practices can genuinely liberate us from patterns that have held us captive for maybe years.
Opening up that space for happiness, clarity, focus.
Exactly. It's about building a robust inner resilience, finding a real sense of peace even when life throws curveballs, and fundamentally transforming your relationship with yourself.
Okay, so let's begin at a point that I find just incredibly fundamental. But it's something so many of us get wrong, like every single day without even realizing it. We're talking about that startling, often really uncomfortable difference between your inner self-critic and how you'd actually treat a good friend.
Oh, it is a startling comparison, isn't it? Let's maybe try a quick mental exercise if you're listening along.
Okay.
Imagine your best friend comes to you feeling absolutely terrible about themselves. Maybe they messed up badly or they're just feeling completely inadequate. What's your response?
Yeah, what words would you use? What's your tone?
For most of us, I think, when we're being truly empathetic and supportive, we'd instinctively be incredibly gentle, reassuring, understanding.
You'd offer comfort, perspective, unwavering support.
Yeah.
Remind them of their worth.
Right. Now here's the slightly uncomfortable truth-telling part.
Okay, brace yourselves.
How do you actually talk to yourself when you struggle, when you mess up, or that familiar wave of insecurity just washes over you? What's that internal voice saying?
And maybe even more telling, what's the tone of that voice?
Exactly. For a huge number of us, the difference isn't just noticeable, it's stark. That inner voice can be shockingly harsh, cold, even angry sometimes.
Saying things we'd never dream of saying to someone we care about. You're so disgusting, you always mess everything up, you make me sick, awful stuff.
It is, and this common, often totally unacknowledged disparity is the first really crucial step towards cultivating self-compassion. Just recognizing it is already a huge win.
Just noticing that difference.
Precisely. This gap often stems from deep-seated fears, maybe deeply ingrained self-judgment, perhaps criticisms from our past that we've internalized without even realizing it.
Yeah.
We unconsciously hold ourselves to these impossible standards, or we just keep replaying old, unhelpful narratives. And that leads us to treat ourselves far more harshly than we'd ever treat another human being.
But here's the empowering part, right? This isn't just about feeling a bit better.
Not at all. The practice of self-kindness, it actually has the power to literally rewire your brain. Studies in neuroplasticity, they show that consistently choosing self-compassion over self-criticism can strengthen the neural pathways linked to comfort, emotional regulation, resilience.
Wow, so you're actually building a new internal structure.
It's like building a new, more supportive internal muscle.
Yeah.
Imagine a truly wise, nurturing friend or mentor talking to you. They might gently point out unproductive behavior, sure, but always with this undercurrent of encouragement, always aligned with your own underlying wish to be healthy and happy.
It wouldn't just condemn you relentlessly?
Never. They'd recognize the limits of human nature, offer kindness and forgiveness, not just judgment.
Okay, so that leads to the big question. How do we actually do this? How do we practically start being that better friend to ourselves and lighten that backpack of self-criticism? Our sources offer some really powerful tools.
They do. One that really stands out is called the Imaginary Friend Letter.
Okay, intrigued. How does that work?
Well, the process is designed to be quite profound, maybe bypassing some of our usual defenses. First, you choose something about yourself that you genuinely dislike or feel ashamed of, something that triggers that strong sense of insecurity, that not good enough feeling.
Could be anything. Physical appearance, a mistake at work, a relationship pattern.
Anything that resonates with that feeling. The key is then to write about the emotions that come up when you think about this flaw. Really allow yourself to feel them, just as they are, without trying to fix them or judge them. Just get it down on paper.
Raw and honest.
Exactly. And then here's where the shift happens. After writing that piece, you imagine an unconditionally loving, accepting, kind, and deeply compassionate friend.
Not just any friend, though.
No, this is someone special. Someone who sees all your strengths and all your weaknesses, including the very thing you just wrote about. This friend has this deep understanding of human imperfection, your unique life story, your background, all the circumstances that shaped you but were outside your control.
Okay, I'm picturing this person. What next?
From this imaginary friend's perspective, you then write a letter to yourself. What would they say about your flaw with unlimited compassion? How would they show deep empathy, especially for the pain you feel when you judge yourself so harshly?
So they'd remind you you're human, imperfect.
Exactly. That everyone has strengths and struggles. And if they were to suggest any changes, it would come from this place of unconditional understanding, a genuine desire for your well-being, never criticism or demand.
That sounds powerful.
It really is. The aim is to infuse yourself with this deep, almost visceral sense of acceptance, kindness, caring, that desire for your own health and happiness. You write it, maybe put it away for a little while, then come back and reread it. Let those words really sink in. It's a potent way to start shifting that internal dialogue.
I like that. Okay, another approach, maybe more of a long-term blueprint, is changing your critical self-talk.
Yes, exercise 5. And the first step here, it sounds simple, but it's foundational. Simply noticing that self-critical voice.
Just becoming aware of it. Because often it's just background noise.
Completely. It's like static you've tuned out. So
Yeah.
whenever you're feeling bad about something, embarrassment, shame, frustration, just pause. Try to capture exactly what you just said to yourself. What were the specific words?
You're so stupid, you'll never get this right.
Yeah. What was the tone? Harsh, cold, angry, dismissive? Does it maybe echo someone from your past who is critical? The goal isn't to fight it yet, just to get to know this inner critic.
Yeah.
Become aware of when that inner judge pipes up.
Okay, so step 1, notice what's step 2.
Step 2 is to actively soften that voice. But, and this is crucial, with compassion, not more judgment.
Right, you don't want to criticize the critic.
Exactly. You wouldn't yell at a spared child, would you? Or even a worried part of yourself. Instead, you might say something gentle like, I know you're worried about me. Maybe you're trying to protect me from failure or judgment, but this harshness, it's actually causing unnecessary pain. Could my inner compassionate self speak now?
It's like calling a truce in that inner battle. A gentle redirect.
Precisely. Then, step 3, actively reframe those critical observations in a friendly, supportive, positive way.
How do you do that if you're stuck?
If you're struggling for words, just imagine what that unconditionally compassionate friend from the letter exercise would say. You might even find yourself using a term of endearment naturally if that feels right for you.
So instead of, you're so disgusting for eating those cookies,
It transforms, maybe into something like, darling, I know you ate those cookies because you were feeling really sad and you hoped it would bring some comfort. But now you feel even worse and your body doesn't feel great. My deepest wish is for you to be happy and healthy. So let's figure out what you truly need instead of reaching for that quick fix next time.
Okay. It's about understanding the underlying need and addressing that with kindness.
Yes. This practice, done consistently, helps you literally transform those old, harmful habits of self-criticism into pathways of genuine self-care.
And to really make this stick, day to day?
The self-compassion journal, exercise 6. A really powerful daily practice. Sometime each evening, maybe before bed, consciously review your day. Note anything that made you feel bad about yourself, anything you judged yourself for, or any difficult experience that caused emotional pain.
Then what? Just list them.
No, then the critical part. You write about your emotions non-judgmentally. Not minimizing, not dramatizing, just observing what came up. Like, I felt frustrated because traffic was bad. I yelled at the other driver, then felt ashamed afterwards. My heart was pounding, my stomach was tight.
Okay, acknowledge the feeling.
And then this is where the profound healing comes in. You connect this experience to common humanity.
Meaning?
Meaning acknowledging that being human means being imperfect. That all people have these kinds of painful experiences, these moments of overreaction or self-judgment. Everyone gets angry in traffic sometimes. It's part of being human. Maybe I was also really stressed about being late.
So normalizing it. You're not uniquely flawed.
Exactly. You might also consider the underlying causes, the pressure, feeling overwhelmed. And finally, most powerfully, you write self-kind words of comfort. Adopt that gentle, reassuring tone. It's okay. You lost your cool in that moment, but it wasn't the end of the world. I understand how stressed you were. You're learning, and I'm here for you. This practice helps organize your thoughts, cements these compassionate new patterns in your memory, and really strengthens your capacity for self-compassion day by day.
What's fascinating about all these self-compassion practices is how they really link up with that broader psychological idea of acceptance, which feels like the bedrock of truly letting go, right?
Yeah.
You can't release what you don't first acknowledge.
Exactly right. Acceptance isn't about condoning something negative or just resigning yourself to a bad situation. It's about acknowledging the reality of a situation or a person or even a deep-seated habit and understanding that it no longer serves your well-being or your highest good.
It's not forgetting the past or pretending mistakes didn't happen. That sounds like denial.
Precisely. It's honoring the impact of whatever you're letting go of, a past relationship, a limiting belief, a hurtful pattern, but consciously recognizing that it's time to move forward. This act of acceptance, it releases the immense resistance we often unconsciously hold on to. That resistance is what keeps us tied to what doesn't serve us.
It's like putting down the rope in a tug of war with reality.
That's a great way to put it. It's the essential first step.
Yeah.
It paves the way for true emotional and mental freedom. Without acceptance, we're constantly fighting against reality. And honestly, that's just exhausting.
So it's not about ignoring the past or pretending painful things didn't happen. It's looking at it all with kindness, just as it is, without the judgment, without the resistance, and understanding that only from that place of honest acknowledgement can you really release that invisible burden.
Beautifully said.
Okay, so once you've started to soften that inner critic and truly accept where you are, the next crucial step in releasing those burdens and moving towards more freedom is learning to truly be present with life itself. And that's where we get into the path, embracing mindfulness and presence. This is where we learn that profound art of simply being rather than constantly doing.
It's such a fundamental shift. Jon Kabat-Zinn, who was really pivotal in bringing mindfulness into, mainstream psychology and medicine, he defines it beautifully.
How does he put it?
Awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally, to things as they are. Just think about that for a second.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Present moment. Non-judgmentally, as they are. Wow.
It's a profound shift from our usual mode where our minds are constantly doing, planning, judging, analyzing, ruminating.
Everything but being here now.
Right, to simply being with what is. It means deliberately suspending judgment, setting aside our endless future goals and past regrets for a moment, and approaching situations with this fresh sense of openness, curiosity even.
It's like intentionally turning off that autopilot mode we operate in so much of the time.
Exactly. Whether we're brooding about the past, worrying endlessly about the future, or just not truly experiencing this moment, mindfulness is about tuning in to things as they are right now with full, non-judgmental awareness.
I often think of it like finally getting unstuck. From that emotional and mental straitjacket of unconsciousness. It's about truly seeing the world around you. And maybe more importantly, truly seeing yourself, not as you wish it were or fear it might be, but as it fundamentally is in this very moment.
And that practice has incredible power to liberate you from habitual patterns that don't serve you well, many of which, ironically, you might not even be aware of until you start practicing mindfulness.
Right. So what kinds of practical problems does mindfulness actually help with?
Oh, the list is pretty long and covers so much of modern life. If you frequently find your mind trapped in future worries or endlessly replaying past events, just unable to let go mentally, mindfulness provides a path. It's highly effective for managing feelings of anxiety and chronic stress, whether that shows up as physical tension, panic attacks, or just that pervasive sense of dread.
Feeling overwhelmed.
Definitely. If you feel overwhelmed, can't think straight, struggle to prioritize, mindfulness gives you tangible ways to observe how those mental patterns operate, which lessens their overwhelming hold on you. Even common issues like broken sleep, chronic relationship stress, conflicts, or just feeling generally down or depressed can be profoundly impacted by consistent mindfulness practice.
And the goal isn't to force your mind to be quiet,
Right.
right? Because that feels impossible sometimes.
Exactly. The intention isn't to forcefully control the mind, which is often frustrating and counterproductive. It's more about perceiving its patterns, both healthy and harmful, clearly, but with an open heart, with curiosity, and with that stance of radical acceptance we talked about. That shifts your whole relationship with your own thoughts and emotions.
Okay, so if mindfulness is the path, how do we actually put it into action in our daily lives? Let's dig into some foundational practices. Maybe start with mindfulness of breathing. I know that's often the first step for people.
It is, and it's surprisingly profound. Often your gateway to heightened awareness. So to begin, you'd find a comfortable chair, straight-backed, feet flat on the floor, legs uncrossed. Sit so your spine feels self-supporting, kind of erect, but not stiff, letting your shoulders relax down.
Eyes open or closed.
You can gently close your eyes, or if you prefer, just let your gaze rest softly, unfocused, on the floor a few feet ahead. Start by just noticing the sensations of contact, the weight, the pressure of your body on the chair, your feet on the floor.
Grounding yourself.
Yes. Then, very gently, bring your focus to your breath. Just notice how it is right now. Is it deep, shallow, fast, slow? There's absolutely no need to change it or control it, nothing to fix. Just observe the breath as it naturally travels in, fills your lungs, and flows back out. Just be with it. As you settle, gradually shift your attention maybe to your navel area. As you inhale, feel your tummy gently rising. As you exhale, feel it softly falling. Just stay in touch with those changing physical sensations for the full duration of each breath. For some people, it helps to mentally gently say in or rising on the inhale and out or falling on the exhale, just as an anchor.
Okay, and here comes the part everyone struggles with, right? The mind wandering off.
Ah, yes. The most critical, often misunderstood part. Sooner or later, and probably sooner, your mind will wander. It'll get caught up in thoughts, planning, remembering, daydreaming, worrying, just grifting.
And that feels like failure, like I'm doing it wrong.
But here's the crucial insight. It is not a failure. It's perfectly okay. In fact, this wandering, getting absorbed in thought, is precisely what the human mind does. The practice isn't about stopping thought.
It's about what you do when they arise.
Exactly. When your mind wanders off the breath, you simply notice it without judgment, and then gently, compassionately, escort it back to the sensation of your breathing. The more gently you bring it back, the more ease you'll find in the practice.
So even if it wanders 100 times in 5 minutes.
That's okay. Each gentle return of awareness is the practice. Treat it with the same gentle patience you'd use if you were teaching a toddler to hold a ball. No scolding, no frustration. That gentle, persistent return, that's where the resilience and focus are built.
That reframing is so helpful. Okay, building on that, what about the 3-minute breathing space? You mentioned that's like a quick reset.
Yes, exercise 2. It's designed as a kind of mindfulness espresso shot, a way to help you step out of that ingrained automatic pilot mode and quickly reconnect with the present, no matter how chaotic things feel.
Your instant off-ramp from autopilot. I like that.
Yeah.
A quick way to ground yourself when things feel overwhelming or you're spiraling into thought.
Precisely. It has 3 simple yet really powerful steps. First minute, awareness. You bring your attention inwards and just ask yourself, what's going on with me right at this moment?
Not judging, just observing.
Just curious observation. Notice your thoughts, how they arise, their quality, how they behave. No need to change them, just see them like clouds drifting by. Then notice your feelings. Can you put words to them? Frustrated, tired, a bit anxious? Acknowledge whatever emotional landscape is there. Finally, scan your body for sensations. Tightness, tension, lightness, numbness. Notice these without feeling you have to do anything about them. Just approach it all with curiosity.
Okay, that's minute 1, minute 2.
Minute 2, breath. Gently shift your full attention to your breath. Let it be your anchor in the present moment. Notice each in-breath, each out-breath. Maybe count gently or say in, out. This brings you into a kind of stillness, connects you to the flow of life right now.
In the final minute.
Minute 3, expansion. Broaden your awareness out from just the breath to encompass your whole body. Feel your posture, the weight of your body, the sensations on your skin. See everything that's happening inner and outer with this open, non-judgmental stance, like you're taking in your entire experience with acceptance.
3 minutes. That feels really doable even on a busy day. What about something deeper like the body scan?
Ah, yes. Lesson 3, exercise 1. This is typically done lying down, though you can adapt it for sitting. Lie comfortably, maybe on a mat or your bed, arms by your sides, eyes gently closed.
Okay.
Begin by bringing attention to your body as a whole, head to toe. Notice your breath without changing it, just letting it flow. Feel the weight of your body sinking down, supported. Then, slowly, systematically, begin to scan your body with your awareness.
Where do you start?
Usually from the toes, moving up through your feet, legs, pelvis, torso, arms, hands, neck, face, all the way to the crown of your head. As you move, intentionally breathe into any areas where you notice tension, discomfort, or strong sensation.
Breathe into it.
Yeah, just notice it, acknowledge it without needing to act on it, change it, or judge it. For example, you bring awareness to your lower back. You find tension there. Breathe into it and out from it, just being with whatever is happening without resisting.
What's the deeper purpose of that? Just noticing tension.
It's not just noticing sensation. It's about recognizing signs of aversion, how we unconsciously push away discomfort, pain, difficult feelings. Instead, you learn to simply be with what is, fostering that radical acceptance for your present physical and emotional state. This builds a profound capacity to tolerate and even understand discomfort, which is absolutely key to letting go.
Now, I have to admit the body scan can be tricky. You might encounter obstacles, right?
Oh, absolutely. Very common. You might find you feel more pain or the sensation intensifies. That's natural. You might really want to stop or find your mind just will not concentrate, constantly wandering.
Or falling asleep. That happens to me.
Very common. Or paradoxically becoming more anxious. And sometimes you just feel restless, bored, like what's the point of this?
So what do you do then?
The crucial thing to remember is this. You may not always like it, but the practice is in continuing. All these experiences are incredibly common. The real work is in gently redirecting your attention back, again and again, with that self-compassion we talked about. That's where the mindfulness muscle truly gets built.
Okay, perseverance and kindness.
Yeah.
Got it. Another one that sounds fascinating is awareness of eating, often done with a raisin.
Yes. Lesson 4, exercise 1. It's such a powerful demonstration.
I love this one conceptually, because how often do we truly taste our food? Usually we're just shoveling it in while thinking about a million other things, right?
Truthfully, our eating habits, like so many daily activities, are just steeped in unconsciousness. This exercise is specifically designed to bring vividness and real presence to the mundane, to show us just how much we miss on autopilot.
So how does it work with the raisin?
You start by just holding a single raisin in your palm. Maybe imagine you've never seen one before. Then take a full minute just to see it. Gaze at it, explore its highlights, hollows, folds, colors.
Really examine it.
Then turn it over, explore its texture with your fingertips. Maybe close your eyes to heighten that sense of touch. Then slowly bring it under your nose, inhale its aroma, notice any sensations that arise in your mouth or stomach, just in anticipation.
Building up to it.
Slowly, deliberately bring it to your lips. Notice how your hand positions it. Gently place it in your mouth without chewing. Explore its texture and shape with your tongue for a moment.
Then the chew.
Then, when you're really ready, slowly, slowly chew. Notice the burst of flavor, the changing texture. Finally, swallow, and consciously follow the sensation of it moving down into your stomach. Sense how your whole body feels afterwards.
Wow. That transforms eating something simple into this whole sensory event.
It radically transforms the experience. It reveals a depth of sensation and presence you might never have thought possible, and it demonstrates the power of mindful engagement with absolutely anything.
Okay, one more practice. Becoming aware of pleasant and unpleasant experiences. From lesson 5. This sounds like being an emotional detective throughout your day.
It is a bit like that. It's a practice in heightened emotional literacy. You can use a simple calendar or journal to record moments when you notice something distinctly pleasant or unpleasant happening.
What do you record?
What was happening in that exact moment, but pay particular attention to the interplay of feelings, thoughts, and physical sensations. So maybe feeling the cool wind on my face during my walk, pleasant. Note the lightness in your chest, thoughts of gratitude,
Or an unpleasant one.
maybe feeling angry during a conversation. Note the thoughts. I should have been firmer. Note the tightness in your jaw. The key insight isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about understanding that experiences aren't just this big, undifferentiated blob.
Right, that's key. You can break them down: thoughts, feelings, body sensations, makes them feel more manageable. You can get curious instead of instantly judging or reacting.
Exactly. This practice helps you see how you habitually grasp onto pleasant experiences, trying to make them last, or instinctively push away unpleasant ones, which, paradoxically, can actually give them more power over you. It cultivates this open, non-judgmental approach to whatever arises, which is fundamentally what letting go is all about.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork with self-compassion and mindfulness. Now let's turn to the release, really tackling some of those deep internal obstacles and learning to detach with intention. And a huge one for many people, keeping those unseen burdens heavy, are self-limiting beliefs.
Oh, absolutely huge. Everyone has them. No exceptions. These are those pervasive, often totally unconscious thoughts and assumptions that just keep showing up, silently dictating what we believe about ourselves, our capabilities, our lives, our potential.
They sound like, oh, this is just how I am, I can't change, or I've always been this way, why bother trying?
Or, I don't really add much value here. The insidious part is we often just accept them as reality. We rarely, if ever, question if they're actually true.
They're the hidden shackles, aren't they? The silent stories we tell ourselves that just hold us back. Imagine a life where you're not constantly holding yourself back, where baseless fears don't dictate your choices, where you feel free to pursue things without that internal brake being pulled.
That's the freedom we're aiming for. And to really uncover these deeply embedded beliefs, there's a powerful self-inquiry tool called the downward arrow technique.
Okay, downward arrow. How does that work?
You take a self-limiting statement you've identified. Let's say, I'm inherently introverted, and that's a problem. Then you repeatedly ask yourself, if this were true, what does this mean about me? What's the deep implication here?
Keep asking, what does this mean about me?
Yes, you keep asking that question to each subsequent answer until you reach a core fundamental belief about yourself or the world that you can't really go any deeper on. So, I'm introverted might lead to, that means people don't expect much from me in groups. Ask again. If that's true, what does it mean? It means I don't have much to contribute. Ask again. And if that's true?
Maybe. It means I don't really add value.
Exactly. When you hit that simple, core, often quite painful statement, I don't add value, I'm not worthy, the world is unsafe, you've likely hit a core self-limiting belief. It's like peeling an onion down to the very center.
Wow. Okay, so once you've bravely identified them, dug them up,
Yeah.
the crucial next step is actively changing that narrative, right?
Yeah.
You have to consciously challenge them.
Precisely. Take that core belief you've uncovered. Let's stick with, I don't add value. Then intentionally list all the reasons why it isn't true, or at the very least, why it might not be true.
Gather evidence against it.
Yes. Actively gather evidence from past experiences where you did add value, even in small ways. If you don't have obvious proof, come up with logical reasons why it might not be true. The key isn't instant 100% conviction. It's just opening the door to doubt, finding reasons why you could be wrong about this deeply held belief. This becomes an ongoing list you keep adding to.
And while you're gathering that evidence, you need to be vigilant, right? Watch your self-talk.
Become a vigilant monitor. Those limiting beliefs pop up constantly through the day, often unnoticed. The practice is to catch them in real time. Immediately challenge them with your new evidence. Don't let them slide by without a quick internal, hey, wait a minute.
So catch it, challenge it.
Label the belief for what it is. There's that I don't add value thought again. Consciously recall a reason or two why it might not be true. And then deliberately pivot your thoughts elsewhere or reframe the situation.
And then the final step is proactive.
Yes, create new, more supportive beliefs. If you've worked through the downward arrow and found I don't add value is just an old, unhelpful story, what's a new, more realistic, truly supportive belief you can adopt instead?
Maybe something like, I add value in most situations when I engage thoughtfully.
Perfect. It doesn't need to be over-the-top positive self-talk like, I'm amazing at everything. Just something you can genuinely get behind most of the time. Something that opens up possibilities instead of shutting them down. Identifying and changing these takes consistent work and time, absolutely, but it's essential for freeing yourself from those invisible burdens.
Okay, now let's tackle a concept that I think gets really misunderstood, maybe even feared sometimes. Detachment. It sounds cold, right?
Yeah.
Numb. Like not caring.
It really does, and that's a crucial nuance that causes a lot of confusion. True detachment isn't about disassociating or becoming cold and uncaring or emotionally unavailable. It's really much closer to the idea of non-attachment.
Non-attachment. What's the difference?
It means intentionally removing the burden of expectation from your interactions and experiences. And by doing that, you eliminate the pain that inevitably comes when those expectations aren't met, or when people or situations don't behave how you want them to, or when people inevitably leave your life.
So it's releasing the need for a specific outcome.
Exactly. It's about loving for the sake of loving itself, without clinging, without neediness, without demanding a specific result. In this deeper sense, detached love is actually closer to unconditional love. It involves cultivating equanimity.
Equanimity.
Yeah, that balanced mental state that allows you to remain inwardly peaceful and centered, regardless of what's happening outside, whether things are going your way or not.
So it's not about being numb or aloof. It's about being wholehearted, fully engaged, but without being held captive by outcomes or by what other people do or choose.
You got it. You're fully present, fully engaged, but your fundamental well-being, your sense of self, isn't dependent on external results. You're lightening your backpack by releasing that heavy weight of needing to control everything.
That makes so much more sense.
Right. I remember seeing this really profound comment from someone on Reddit, actually. They said something like, "There is nothing wrong with loving and doing so wholeheartedly. Feel wholeheartedly. In fact, do everything wholeheartedly." This is also a vital aspect of non-attachment.
Wow, that's the core paradox, isn't it? Full engagement without being ruled by it.
Precisely. It's about cultivating a witnessing consciousness. Imagine your thoughts and emotions are like clouds drifting across the sky, or maybe characters on a movie screen. You are the observer watching them from a deeper, stiller, more spacious place, rather than getting totally swept away by every fleeting thought or intense emotion.
This allows you to choose your response instead of just reacting automatically.
Yes. It's like watching the waves on the surface of the ocean from the calm, deep, unmoving water below.
Okay, and for those times when those pesky, automatic negative thoughts, the ANTs just pop up like uninvited guests.
Right.
Is there a quick strategy?
Yes, there's a helpful acronym process called RAID.
RAID. What does that stand for?
Recognize, allow, investigate, and detach. First, you recognize the negative thought as it arises. Become aware of it without immediately buying into its story.
Just notice it.
Then you allow it to be there. No judgment, no resistance. Acknowledge it's just a thought, a mental event, not necessarily truth, definitely not a command.
Okay, recognize, allow, then I.
Investigate. Gently question its nature and origins. Where did this thought come from? Is it actually true? Is it helpful right now? You question its validity, maybe drawing on those new supportive beliefs you're cultivating.
And finally, D.
Detach. Realize it's just a mental construct, a fleeting event in the vastness of your awareness. It's not your ultimate reality, and it's certainly not who you are. This systematic approach gives you clarity and helps you detach from those limiting thoughts without a big struggle.
Recognize, allow, investigate, detach.
RAID.
Got it. Now, this next point might sound a bit counterintuitive, especially if you, like me, generally prefer comfort zones. But true growth, true release, often happens outside them, embracing discomfort.
It's such a profound shift in perspective. Discomfort isn't necessarily a sign something's wrong. Often it's actually a powerful sign that you're pushing boundaries, challenging old habits, actively letting go of the familiar but unhelpful.
So it's a sign of progress.
It's an undeniable indicator that you're moving into a space of growth and self-improvement. Consciously letting go of what no longer serves you. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow stronger, and to move closer to a deeper, more resilient happiness. It involves cultivating a kind of non-fear.
Non-fear.
A willingness to allow things to simply be, even if they're unpleasant, without that immediate urge to fix them, avoid them, or fight against them. When you can learn to relax into whatever is happening rather than resisting it, the struggle lessens dramatically, and the burden truly begins to lift.
Okay, relax into discomfort. Easier said than done, but I see the principle. And speaking of shifting perspective, another really powerful catalyst for letting go, for transforming your outlook, is the science of gratitude.
Gratitude is so much more than just a nice, fleeting feeling. Robert Emmons, who's a leading expert in this area, defines it as having two core components. First, affirming the goodness in the world around us, actively learning to wake up to the gifts, the blessings we've received.
Okay, seeing the good.
And second, recognizing that the source of this goodness often lies outside ourselves. It comes from other people, from nature, maybe from life itself. It's about consciously noticing the tailwinds, those beneficial forces and blessings supporting us, rather than only focusing on the headwinds, the barriers, and challenges we face. It literally shifts your perceptual lens.
It's like strengthening your positive recall bias,
Yeah.
right? Making it easier to actually see and remember the good stuff, even when things are tough. I remember hearing about someone, Nancy Davis Coe, who decided to write 50 thank you letters.
Mm-hmm.
And she said the act of doing that didn't just feel good. It consistently boosted her positive emotions and helped her weather bigger life challenges because she was just more tuned into what was going right.
That's a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
And the measurable benefits of a consistent gratitude practice are really compelling, backed by solid research. Mentally, studies consistently show that practices like gratitude journaling or writing those letters lead to significantly better mental health overall. Increased life satisfaction, a noticeable boost in self-esteem.
Really? Just from writing things down?
Yes. For instance, people who simply wrote down 3 good things that went well each day for just a few weeks were significantly happier and less depressed. And those positive effects lasted even 6 months later.
Wow.
And it's important. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean ignoring negative emotions. It actively magnifies and amplifies the positive ones, helping you build this deep intrinsic resilience for when adversity does hit. It gives you an emotional buffer.
And it's not just mental health, is it? It impacts physical well-being, too.
Surprisingly profoundly, yes. Grateful individuals tend to report fewer common physical health complaints, things like chronic headaches, digestive issues, frequent colds. Studies even show it can lead to reduced blood pressure and an increase in vagal tone.
Vagal tone, what's that?
Think of the vagus nerve as your body's calming superhighway. Increased vagal tone means your nervous system can shift more efficiently from that fight or flight stress response towards the rest and digest state, leading to overall relaxation and better physical function.
So feeling grateful actually calms your body down.
It does, and grateful people also tend to make healthier lifestyle choices more naturally. They show more consistency in focusing on better nutrition, getting enough sleep, even eating more fruits and vegetables and less junk food, as some research has shown. It's a real holistic health booster.
And beyond us as individuals, gratitude is often called the ultimate social glue, right? It strengthens relationships.
It truly is. There's this fine remind-bind theory that explains it beautifully. Gratitude helps people find good relationship partners, remind them of the value of their current connections, and bind them by motivating them to invest more deeply in those relationships.
So it makes you appreciate people more and act on it.
Exactly, which naturally leads to better communication, and it kicks off this wonderful cycle of generosity and reciprocity. You mentioned Randy Joy earlier. She often shares how gratitude practices in her own family, like gratitude walks or listing gratefuls at dinner, made her family closer, fostered deeper connections, built this shared sense of joy. It really embodies that idea that we are genuinely better together.
Okay, so after exploring self-compassion, mindfulness, tackling limiting beliefs, and harnessing gratitude, how do we weave this all together? How do we put it into practical application for more joy, more freedom in our lives? What's the step-by-step journey of really letting go of those burdens?
Well, the first absolutely critical step is to identify what no longer serves you. This takes some deep, honest, maybe sometimes courageous self-reflection.
Asking the tough questions.
Asking sincerely. Does this person, this habit I've had forever, this belief I carry, or even this physical thing I own, does it genuinely contribute to my growth and well-being? Or is it, maybe subtly, holding me back, draining my energy, dimming my light?
Journaling could help here, or making a list.
Incredibly effective. It helps you visualize these things, prioritize what actually needs releasing. We often cling to things out of habit or fear of the unknown or even misplaced guilt. So pinpointing them is absolutely foundational to the whole process.
Okay, step 1, identify. Once you've pulled that item out of the backpack, metaphorically speaking, what's next?
Yeah.
Because that can bring up a lot of feelings.
Yes, and that's the next crucial step, often overlooked. Acknowledge your emotions. Because letting go, even of something harmful, frequently stirs up a whirlwind of intense feelings, sadness, fear, grief, guilt, maybe even righteous anger.
And the tendency is to push those away.
But it's vital to give yourself explicit permission to feel these emotions fully, without judgment. Don't bottle them up, don't intellectualize them away, don't try to ignore them. That can actually prolong the suffering and keep you tethered to what you're trying to release.
So feel the feelings. They're temporary.
They are temporary. They're a natural, necessary, and ultimately healing part of the release process. If you're grieving a past relationship, for instance, take time to reflect on the memories, the emotions without judgment. Journaling, like we said, or talking to a trusted friend or a therapist can provide that safe space to really process and release the emotional weight. Facing your feelings head-on untangles the attachments holding you back. It really loosens the straps of that heavy backpack.
And throughout this whole process, mindfulness isn't just a technique. It's like an ongoing companion, right? Practice mindfulness.
Absolutely. It's invaluable and ongoing practice. Mindfulness helps you stay profoundly grounded in the present moment. It allows you to manage anxiety about the future, release the heavy weight of regret about the past. By consistently bringing your full attention to the here and now using mindful breathing, the 3-minute breathing space, body scans you develop the capacity to navigate your emotions with more clarity, calm, and intention.
It builds that inner resilience.
Exactly. It strengthens your ability to release attachments by gently redirecting your thoughts and awareness back to the only moment you truly have, right now.
And it's okay to not do this alone, right? Seek support.
So important. Lean on trusted friends, supportive family, or consider reaching out to a mental health professional. Get emotional support. Get a fresh perspective. Talking openly about your feelings, getting validation, it can dramatically improve your emotional health. It gives you invaluable insights into your patterns, helps you gain clarity on what a healthy path forward looks like for you.
Especially with something like emotional detachment, that can be complex.
Very complex. It varies so much depending on the person, the situation, the depth of the connection. Having a support network or professional guidance can make that process much less isolating and far more effective.
You mentioned journaling a few times. It seems like a really powerful personal compass on this journey.
It really is. It's incredibly effective for deeply processing complex emotions, gaining crystal clear clarity on your thoughts, identifying those recurring patterns in thinking or behavior that no longer serve you.
It's a safe space.
A completely safe, private space to constructively confront difficult feelings, fear, anger, sadness, whatever's coming up. By diligently putting thoughts and feelings onto paper, you gain profound insight. You actively promote emotional healing, and you foster this deep, empowering sense of agency over your own internal world. It helps you understand not just what you're letting go of, but truly why it might be time.
And another huge piece, maybe often overlooked in self-care, is consciously aligning your daily activities with your well-being. Really being mindful of how you spend your time and energy. Asking, are my activities genuinely nourishing me, or are they subtly, consistently depleting me?
Precisely. It's rare in our fast-paced lives to truly stop and take honest stock of our day-to-day choices. Maybe make a deliberate list of your typical daily activities. Then critically explore ways to consciously bring in more nourishing ones.
But life has depleting stuff too, right? You can't avoid it all.
Absolutely. Work commitments, unavoidable responsibilities. Life will always throw depleting activities our way. The ultimate aim isn't necessarily to avoid them entirely. It's more about bringing a heightened awareness to them and finding creative ways to care for yourself while you're engaging in them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's being mindfully present with your posture during a stressful meeting. Maybe it's fully tasting your morning coffee instead of gulping it down while checking emails. Maybe it's actively listening without judgment during a difficult conversation. It's about consciously choosing where you direct your precious energy, even in the smallest moments.
And ultimately, all these tools, all these insights, they come together in developing your own unique, sustainable, mindful practice. A long-term strategy for continued joy and freedom.
That's the goal. The profound task now is to thoughtfully weave these various practices we've talked about, the body scan, sitting meditation, maybe some mindful movement, the 3-minute breathing space, cultivating loving kindness into a sustainable, realistic routine that genuinely works for your life.
Realistic and flexible being keywords there.
Incredibly key. Be realistic. Be flexible. Your choices aren't set in stone. What works one week might need adapting the next. But you now possess the skills, the insights, the practical tools to consciously decide for yourself what truly supports your unique journey towards lasting freedom and profound joy.
It's about consistently finding what reconnects you with your body, helps you cope skillfully with difficulties, and cultivates that ever-deepening kindness towards yourself and others.
Yes, it's not a destination you arrive at. It's a lifelong, liberating practice.
So we've really explored how letting go isn't about losing something vital at all. It's about making immense, necessary space. Space for new opportunities, profound personal growth, and just a lighter, more authentic way of being in the world. It's a journey that touches everything.
It truly is. It's about shedding that emotional clutter, releasing those invisible burdens and limiting beliefs to allow genuine joy, profound contentment, abundant gratitude to actually flourish. When you intentionally release what no longer serves you, you achieve this deep emotional freedom. You experience increased focus, more clarity. You literally open the door to living a more authentic, more fulfilling, more vibrant life.
Honoring your past, but moving forward with intention. Unburdened. Present.
Exactly.
And just to reiterate, this process of letting go, it's an ongoing journey, isn't it? A continuous practice, not a one-time thing you tick off a list.
Absolutely not. It demands patience, persistent effort, and maybe most importantly, just an unending supply of self-compassion along the way.
So as you, our listener, step forward into your day, maybe with a slightly lighter backpack now, what single belief, habit, or attachment will you gently acknowledge today? Not to force it away, but just to offer it compassion. And create the tiniest space for something new, something more aligned with your truest self to maybe start to bloom.
And perhaps consider this. If the present moment truly is the only moment you ever have to be fully alive, what could you choose to consciously release right now in this moment to experience its fullness? Unburdened, vibrant, and completely present.